This. Keep them both in the top. This.
If you're a woman looking to grow big, juicy peach glutes, this is the video for you. My name is Ethan Schneider. I am a certified personal trainer, and I've been training full-time for the past 8 years. I've been seeing a lot of Bulgarian split squats in the last couple months, and I've seen so many issues that are incorrect or bad cues or bad form, etc. And this video is going to be fixing all of those things, and if you stick to the end, I will give you a full booty workout routine that you can do once or twice a week. But before we get into the video itself, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel as we are growing. We're just trying to get started. Hit that like button, share with your friends. Everything that you do for this channel, whether it's subscribing or liking, is going to go a long way. And we really, really appreciate it. We put a lot of work into this, and it would mean so much if you just hit that like button. Now, let's get into the video. So when it comes to glute training, recently I've seen so many issues and problems with technique and form. It's costing you gains. So in this video, we're going to be going over all of the bad techniques that you might be seeing or in the gym or that you're doing yourself, how to fix those techniques, and get your peaches. When it comes to Bulgarian split squats, I know everybody hates Bulgarian split squats, but they are such an important part of your glute training. The thing I see the worst with the Bulgarian split squats is the knee flexion and the lack of glute activation during this lift. A lot of it is the foot positioning, how far back your back foot is, how far your knee goes forward, does it go to the side, does it cave in? All of those factors play into whether or not those glutes are actually going to grow at an optimal amount. So luckily I have a BC Strength hip thrust platform, which works very well, not only with hip thrusts, but also Bulgarian split squats. The best way to set this thing up or set anything up is typically a bench, some kind of box jump, or a plyo box that you can use. I am just blessed to have a BC Strength hip thrust platform. It makes the Bulgarian split squats a lot easier. It helps with balance, and it feels better on my ankle specifically. To each their own. However, the correct height that you want to get is something just about where the knee is about to bend. So like for me, the top of my tibia or the bottom of my knee is right here. So it's just above the height of the backside. All right, so when it comes to Bulgarian split squats, if you really want to isolate and really hit those glutes, you actually want a decent amount of distance between the bench or the padding from the front foot, right? So sitting back into the glute, this is what normally a Bulgarian split squat would look like, right? I have seen some where they're pushing the knee too far forward, they're putting too much stress on the back leg, which ironically gets too much help from the back leg. We want everything in this glute. Why? I mean, this isn't bad, but it is not the optimal amount of glute engagement or glute stimulus. So what we want to do is sit into the glutes as we come down, bring the torso slightly forward like you're shooting your butt back, and you're pressing through the heel and midfoot of this foot here. So down. In this position, the shin is not going to come very far, right? There's going to be a little bit of give, but it shouldn't be like all the way over the toe. Another cue or another technique issue that we seem to run into all the time is the lack of depth during this movement. Most studies and research show now that the lengthened position of a muscle receives the most amount of muscle growth. So if you're trying to grow big, juicy peaches, you want to get that peach in a lengthened position, which means that you have to really get into that depth. Which means you can't be shallow squatting and expecting to get great results. You have to get into a deep position and pull out of the top. The tension is going to be the key hypertrophic stimulus that we're looking for in the deep position. With that tension and the depth, we're going to build the most amount of peach that we can. Another issue is knee valgus. Now, it's not inherently bad, but it's also not great for peach growth. So as we're here, we don't want to see a lot of knee. I can't even do it. Like, the knee coming in is not great, one, for your knee, and two, your hip. So we want to make sure that the knee is either in line with your toe or even slightly externally out, right? So this would look great. See how the shin slightly comes out? It can be over and get just enough stimulus, but we don't want it to cave in. That is not good. There's many ways you can overload the Bulgarian split squat. The most common one and the most easily accessible one would be either a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And oftentimes, you would hold that on the contralateral side of the primary mover, which would mean that you're holding the dumbbell on the right side when I'm working that left cheek. So it's going to look down like this, right? And there are other ways that we can work them out and overload those glutes, such as double fisting the dumbbells. So this would also really overload those glutes. The only problem with that is that you have to worry about too much balance and core stability and foot stability. I'd rather make it as simple as possible and make it only focused on the glute, not all the other factors. This is where the Smith machine comes in handy. So if you are fortunate enough to have a Smith machine, this is going to be phenomenal. If not, you're just gonna have to suffer with trying to stabilize yourself the entire time while you're overloading your glutes. The best thing about the Smith machine is it's locked in a position to where you cannot fall out of balance unless your muscles just give out. This is fantastic because you can overload this bar and not have to worry about your stability. So before we begin, we want to make sure that we understand the mechanics of the Smith machine that we're working with. Most of the time, it works on a rotational safety lock. So in order to take it off the safety, you rotate the bar back and it is free to move through the full range of motion or whatever it is that you're working with. Because we are overloading this movement, this is going to be really hard, really fatiguing, and really challenging. So safety is very, very important. So making sure the safeties are on so that in the case that you do actually fail this lift, the bar will stop where the safety is set. For this case here, we don't even get that low during the actual movement itself. So we're allowing ourselves plenty of room, but in the case we fail, it's going to stop right here and we're safe from being crushed by a bar. Fixed bar path means that wherever you place your foot is going to be very important when you start this lift. So this bar path is going to be shown by the slope of the actual machine itself. So this going straight down, it's at a slight curve, right? And basically what we want to do is have our foot placed right over this line here. So if we want a far foot position, or if we want a good position on our foot relative to the slope of this machine, we want to have the mid-foot line right with that line of that slope. So this position would be a good position for my foot. All right, for me personally, what I like to do is I like to load up my shoulders before I put my foot back. Place the foot back, right? And just like you would with a Bulgarian split squat, come down, keep the knee from going too far forward. Because the foot is so far forward, I have plenty of room to actually go back into my hip and press off the heel and midfoot, engaging those glutes really hard. So a booty workout, or the optimal booty workout, would look like this. Day one, you would do 3 to 4 working sets of barbell hip thrusts or hip thrust machines, followed by 3 working sets of 10 to 12 reps per leg of the Bulgarian split squat, followed by hip abduction, which is the opening of the legs, 3 working sets of anywhere between 10 and 20 reps. Either way, you want to hit fatigue or failure, anywhere in that range. Your day 2 would be Romanian deadlifts, which is a glute-focused deadlift. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, or if you're into strengthening it, 5 reps of your 70% 1 rep max, followed by either reverse lunges or walking lunges with a tilt in the torso, followed by more hip abductions. Now, that's just for the booty work. You need to make sure that you have some kind of anatomical symmetry. So you need to work on squats somewhere, deadlifts somewhere for the hamstrings, leg extensions, hamstring curls, and more hip adduction, right? If you don't have an abduction machine, you can grab a band. These are relatively cheap, and they would be yours if you bought them. So just coming out to the side, side to side, that would be equivalent to a hip abduction, except you can't really overload it with bands. So with hip abduction, and you're specifically using bands, the reason why I have it above the knees is because I actually want you to drive that hip abduction through the knee, not the ankle. Yes, the ankle can get more tension, but it's very easy to lose that knee and start knee valgusing as you're doing this movement. All right, so there it is. There are the faults and the correct cues to set up your Bulgarian split squat on the Smith machine. And you also got a bonus booty work program so that you can grow big, thick, juicy peaches. If you got value out of this content, please consider subscribing to the channel, like this video, share this with your friends that are looking for big, juicy peaches, and I'll see you in the next one.